Hi everyone, welcome back to Pine Hollow out of Diagnostics. Today we have another pickup truck from Western New York, the Buffalo area, more than 4 hours away. 2016 Ram 1500 Hemi. So, story with this truck. The owner bought it almost 2 years ago, was driving fine, but then the ABS light came on and the check engine light and he couldn't pass the New York State safety inspection. Okay. So he took it to a shop, they scanned it, found some ABS codes, and the engine computer was saying, hey, there's an ABS code, we're also going to turn on the check engine light. All related. They said, hey, you need a new ABS module, couldn't get a new one, so they settled for a rebuilt one, plugged it in, it's still setting codes, they couldn't get it programmed, took it to another shop, this and that, so finally the owner's like, we need an answer. So he brought it here. So now it's in our hands. Let's diagnose this thing. So when people bring their cars over and parts have already been replaced, I always ask, please bring the original parts. Don't throw anything away. Please bring it all. That way we have a chance of fixing it, no parts required, because programming Chryslers is kind of a pain in the butt. So the owner did that. Here's the original module. He said when they took it off, they found some green crusties in the connector, and the plastic is cracked. So that's not a good thing, but you know, we can clean up connectors and seal this up. That's not a problem. So at least we have the original module to play with. Now, what are the codes stored? In the PCM, we actually have 5 codes. So, implausible data received from ABS, okay. ABS DTC present, okay. Brake switch 1 stuck on. Interesting. EVAP system small leak, so not related, but that can also turn on the check engine light. So there could be 2 separate issues with the truck. And then fuel level sensor 1 circuit high. He says that when the fuel level is above 3/4 of a tank, and when it's hot outside, sometimes the gauge drops down. So, but I don't think that would cause a check engine light, but it might. So we need to address all of these to address the customer complaint of check engine light. Okay, let's look at the ABS. So we have the C2202 VIN mismatch because, yeah, module was never programmed. And then brake pressure sensor 1 failure and brake pressure sensor 1 signal bias level out of range. So that's a problem. We will have to do some research. Where are these pressure sensors? Where are, you know, the brake pedal sensors that talk to the engine computer? But right off the bat, we can just gather some data while we have the scanner connected. So in the PCM, let's read live data stream, and I'm just interested in brake, there you go, brake switch 1, brake switch 2. I don't know what these are, but they both say on. I'm not touching the brake pedal. If I press the brake pedal, they both say on. So no change there at all. Now my question is, do the brake lights work? Let's go see. So brake lights are off, and let me push the pedal down. So we got our snow brush brake pedal depressing tool, and the brake lights are on. Right, left, and top. So something is telling, you know, somehow the truck knows that the brake pedal is being depressed, but these do not change in the PCM. So that's one data PID. That is, that's why that code is setting, probably. Let's go back to ABS. Look at the live data in here. We have 32 data PIDs. Let's just select them all. Okay, so first one, or this one right here, brake pedal status released. So I'm going to just gently press the brake pedal. It says pressed. You see the travel sensor is going down to 4.5 volts and back 1.5 volts, released. So here it says released. Okay. Four-wheel drive, initialization complete, failed. Acceleration. Primary circuit pressure, 218 bar. So I'm going to press the brake pedal as hard as I can. Absolutely no change. That's a problem. It should say 0 when the brake pedal is completely released. Primary circuit pressure status invalid. Steering angle sensor. There's a vacuum sensor. That's, I guess, for the brake assist. I'm going to turn the engine on. So that works. Our primary circuit pressure does not change. I can floor the brake pedal. Does not change at all. Okay, so now we have this data. Now it's time for some research. Let's look up some trouble code descriptions, wiring diagrams, and see where we're going. Alright, let's start with the PCM P0572 brake switch 1 stuck on. So we have our ABS module, and it has a pedal travel sensor that we saw in the scan data. That worked fine. Then there's a vacuum pressure sensor. That worked fine. Where is the actual system pressure? I don't see it here. Let's read theory of operation. So there's a brake pedal position sensor. The BPP is hardwired to the ABS module and broadcast this information, as well as the master cylinder pressure sensor signal information over the CAN bus. The master cylinder pressure sensor is internal to the hydraulic control unit. Okay, that's interesting. Master cylinder pressure sensor signals utilize support brake pedal position rationality and brake pedal sensor diagnostic. Autonomous braking system. This vehicle can be brought to a complete stop without depressing the brake pedal, thus false failing the rationality. Brake pedal position rationality needs the MCP sensor signal to determine any autonomous braking system is active. The MCP sensor only measures the brake system pressure applied by the vehicle operator, is not affected by ABS, parking brake, or autonomous braking systems. Okay. Potential to defeat the diagnostics. Interesting. Brake torque. So set conditions, vehicle in drive, vehicle above 17 miles an hour, APP sensor voltage above a calibrated threshold if you're pressing the brake pedal. Set conditions, the voltage signal input from the brake pedal position sensor indicates the brake pedal is being pressed for a minimum of 30 seconds. Interesting. So it's saying this code is caused by the BPP, not this MCP, which the code is in the ABS. They're saying we have this brake pressure sensor problem, not the brake pedal position sensor problem. So go figure that one out. In the ABS, this C044 for the brake pressure sensor, electrical failure. So let's read that. So this brake pressure sensor is located internally in the ABS hydraulic control unit. Interfaces directly with the ABS module through spring-loaded contacts. Interesting. This is why it is imperative that at the end of the diagnostic procedure, if it's determined that unit is to be replaced, the entire unit needs to be replaced and not separated. This will make sure the unit is not misdiagnosed due to a sensor failure or an internal connection failure. So now I'm wondering, was just the module replaced or the entire hydraulic control unit, with the ABS pump? I'm going to have to ask the owner that, because the sensor itself is in the hydraulic part, and then it interfaces through contacts to the electrical part that piggybacks on the hydraulic part. So that's variable. So first thing I want to do is clean up the original ABS module, all the connectors. So I think that those 4 pins right there, that must be the hydraulic pressure sensor connection from the hydraulic from the ABS pump to the module. and then these 2 pins are for the actual pump, power, and ground. So anyways, let's just clean up the green crusties, blow all this out. Then we'll install it on the truck and see if anything changes, right? I want to see 0 PSI when the truck is off, or when the pedal is not pressed. That'll tell us, you know, maybe there's a connection problem right here. There might be a bad sensor in the hydraulic unit, but I want to reinstall this, kind of get a good baseline. Okay, so I'm trying to get this used module off of the ABS pump, and there's something really not good here. There's corrosion on the block, on the ABS block, and one of the screws is broken. See that big gap? that's really not good. I mean, moisture is going to get in there, make it worse, and the ABS module needs to sit flush with the ABS pump. So let me get this off, we'll do a visual inspection and see if we can salvage this situation. Alright, we got our prize. And well, what do we see? I think these are the spring contacts for that pressure sensor. Everything looks fairly clean. Bunch of dielectric grease on there. Let's plug in the original module, see if anything changes. Oh my gosh, I think the last shop used the whole can of dielectric grease on this connector. I guess that's how they do it in upstate New York, huh? You gotta keep that salt out. But this is a little much. I mean, let's blow that out a little bit, clean up those pins. Don't need that much protection. Chunks of silicone flying everywhere. And then we'll plug in the original module, see if our signal comes back. Alright, so original module is cleaned up and plugged in best I could. I just put 1 bolt on there. Try to pull it tight too. The service trailer brake system. Got the traction light. Alright, so should we clear all the DTCs out? Let's just clear them all out. Or we can go right into ABS and look at that pressure. Let's see, read fault code. Internal electronic failure. A whole bunch of wheel speed sensor codes. But let's look at the live data. Just select all. Okay. 206 bar. If I press the brake pedal. So does this thing need a 0-point calibration? Primary circuit pressure status invalid. So I'm wondering if we need to do this initialization in order to get rid of that trouble code. So let's just clear all DTCs. Yes. Okay. See what returns. Three codes left. $2,249 ABS module internal electronic failure. That doesn't sound very good. Ignition run start input performance or incorrect operation. Implausible data. ABS DTC. Okay. So we go into ABS. Special function. That's interesting. I wonder if we can write a VIN 2355. Let me check that. Well, the VIN is completely wrong because the VIN of the truck is right there, 2447. It starts with a 3C6. This one starts with a 1C6. Where the heck did this module come from? Now keep in mind, it looks like there's Junkyard writing on the ABS pump as well, so probably the whole thing was just installed on the truck and somehow worked without any warning lights for a year. So let's, I don't know, let's write the VIN, current VIN, write VIN, yes, please enter. So let me put in that VIN. Alright, so VIN is put in, let's confirm, write failed. I wonder why. Let's try the initialization routine. So wheels are straight forward. We're on level ground. Let's try that. Brake pedal released. ESP sensor initialization failed. That's it. Clear DTC, yes. Just 3 active codes. So is this module completely shot? It might be. Ignition, run, start, input performance, or incorrect operation, internal failure. So let me save this. We'll plug in the used ABS module. So before we unhook this ABS module, just click module information. And there's the hardware part number, ECU part number, VIN original, and then VIN current. So apparently it did write something to the module. I don't know. Took a picture of this. Let's compare it to the replacement. So what I want to do now is wiggle off the ABS module while looking at live data at the actual pressure sensor. See if anything changes. So wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Okay, it goes to 218. That's like open circuit. If I push it all the way in, 201. Okay, something clicked. So 201 is still not a good reading, but open circuit looks like 218. That's interesting. So right now the module is basically off of its of the ABS unit. All right, so the replacement Junkyard module is installed. Let's see what happens here. Clear DTCs one more time. Okay, so let's see what's stored in the ABS. Now we have VIN mismatch and the pressure sensor electrical failure. Okay. So for the VIN, let's see, module information. So that's the VIN of whatever truck this is from. So we take a picture of that, we'll change the VIN, we'll get rid of that one code, but I'm sure in the data stream see, 218 on this one, even though it's plugged all the way in. The other one went down to 200 and 218 was open circuit. So see, this one's setting a circuit code, the other one's setting like internal failure code. This is ridiculous. All these are junk. Well, let's rate the VIN to this one. Right VIN, yes. Let me put that in. We'll get rid of that one code. But the fact that this pressure sensor circuit's messed up, we can't really fix that. So in this one, I can't even rewrite the VIN. It's interesting. For kicks, let's just try initialization. Yep, sensor initialization failed. Brake pedal calibration. Okay, that was easy. Bleed brakes. So this is all junk. The actual ABS pump is junk because the pressure sensor is messed up. and both modules are junk. Unbelievable. So, is it time for eBay? Try to get one from a Southern truck that's not corroded and all crappy. But this crap like this is just, you know, this truck only has 108,000 miles. Nice truck, drives great. But you have crap like this. Traction control doesn't work, ABS doesn't work, check engine lights on, and you can't own it. You can't drive it in, at least in New York State. Maybe some other states you can keep going. But these modules, they're not available. At the dealer, you can't get one. So you have to go used. And if this is a common problem, that supply is going to run right out. So hopefully someone's rebuilding these, you know, in a quality fashion so you keep these trucks on the road. It's just kind of a sad state of affairs. So I spent about half an hour. I called the dealer up, asked them, give me prices and availability on both the hydraulic control unit, the ABS pump, and the module. They said the hydraulic control unit is available. It's like $1,300. The module is under engineering review until next month, not available. So apparently they're having issues with these things. It's a total mess. So you can't get one, you can't fix your truck, even at the dealer. So again, we're back to Rock Auto, eBay. Rock Auto says module is out of stock, not available. The ABS hydraulic unit is available, $811, brand new. On eBay, they sell the whole unit, the pump and the module, for, you know, a couple $100, so that's reasonable. Make sure it's clean from a Southern truck. For example, this one, but it says 17 to 18. So if you click on that one, it says it only fits 17. We have a 16. However, if we look at the part numbers, these actually match up. So this is the hydraulic control unit. This is the correct module, AB or AC. You know, basically it's the next iteration, but it should work. So, you know, where is this one coming from? You want to see, it's coming from Texas. All right, good. So I think that's the only realistic option if the customer wants to get this truck back on the road within a week versus within a month or more. So I'll call them up, give them kind of the bad news, and tell them these are the options. Let's go shopping on eBay. These modules, they're both junk. Hydraulic control unit's junk, so we have no good parts to work with here. Unfortunately, some parts are required. Now, once we plug that one in, you know, from eBay from Texas, should be clean. I expect there only to be a VIN mismatch code. Now, will we be able to rewrite the VIN? Maybe, maybe not. Will that set a check engine light? We can find out on all data if it would, because the PCM's like, hey, ABS has a problem. It says it's setting a DTC. So will that take care of the customer complaint? Maybe, maybe not. So, but if everything else works, that is fixable. Even if I can't do it, then it does have to go to the dealer. They'll reflash the VIN. Hopefully that's possible. And I don't know. That's all I have to say. So we'll see where this goes. Alright, so let's diagnose the P0456 very small EVAP leak. Description of the EVAP system. So here are the components. There's a filler neck, fuel tank pressure sensor. 14 is multifunction control valve, and then here's the charcoal canister, purge valve. There's the filter, and this number 3 is EVAP System Integrity Monitor, ESIM. Okay, so if you look at how this system works, the ESIM switch is used for all leak fault detection. There's a vacuum actuated switch that closes when the vacuum reaches the calibrated threshold. If the switch closes, it indicates the system is not leaking. Okay, so it closes under a slight vacuum. purge solenoid, vent valves, charcoal canister, and here is our ESIM, which is basically a fancy vent valve with some vacuum diaphragms in there, and then this little contact switch which closes under vacuum. Okay? So configured with normally open vacuum switch and normally closed vacuum relief and pressure relief valves, see figure above. PCM uses this ESIM for all of the diagnostics. Relief valves regulate the system pressure between approximately 250 and minus 500. Okay. When the system vacuum reaches between this and that, it acts on the diaphragm, closes the vacuum switch. When the switch closes, it allows continuity between the terminals. Okay. Vacuum relief valve is intended to maintain the seal on the system during engine off events. However, if the vacuum exceeds the regulation point, the valve will pull off the seat and protect the system from excessive vacuum. Yes, during purging, the vacuum relief valve inside the ESIM is open, allowing fresh air to be drawn through the filter into the canister. Pressure relief valve limits any pressure buildup in the fuel tank during refueling and allows the tank pressure to normalize during temperature events. This is beneficial because it achieves a switch closed state sooner than if the tank was decayed from a much higher pressure. Okay, great. I found a video. Let's, hey, there's Scotty Kilmer. Auto DIY guy, small EVAP code on 2009-2018 Ram 1500. Look no further. So, like I said, Google and YouTube are great resources if you want some common issue. What should we check out first? So this dude, he basically goes under the truck and says, replace this part, the ESIM valve. Okay, that's number 1 failure. Now, I went under the truck, removed this valve, and what do you know? We already have a dormant unit installed. So I don't know if they were chasing this problem at some point, but this is not going to work. We can test the little switch in there. So if we put a slight vacuum on there, it basically doesn't change, and that relief valve starts working before the switch actually closes. That's so dumb. So maybe if I hold my finger over here and suck on this, it still doesn't have good continuity. That's ridiculous. So garbage, we need an OEM ESIM valve, and only then run the whole EVAP monitor, and hopefully that'll solve the problem. Because diagnosing a small leak when there is no small leak, but the code is set by a false reading from a junk aftermarket part, why would you do that? You need to start with good OEM working parts, and then if there is a leak, then go chase the leak. So, like I said, if it has wires coming out of it, the wings don't work. 9 times out of 10, that's going to be your problem if that's installed on the vehicle. Alright, so let's check the rest of the system for leaks anyways. Smoke machine's hooked up right to the purge hose. Purge valve is sealed solid, you can't blow through it. So, gotta rule that out. So now we should see smoke coming out of that ESIM valve. There we go. So I have just a hose on here. So let's pinch this hose off and see if there's any leaks in the system. Alright, so hose is pinched off. There's just some residual smoke there. Let's look at the smoke machine. See if that ball will drop to 0. Should fill the entire system. We'll check near the gas cap. Everything seems to be tight. The owner said that they replaced the gas cap twice, and apparently someone replace the ESIM, which is a common cause for leaks, but if you put a dormant in there, it's not going to work. So this looks promising. Just wait for that to drop to 0, and I think we should be in good shape. We just need an OEM ESIM valve. Alright, we're basically down to 0. So confirmed, no actual leaks in the EVAP system.